Welcome to the continuation of our topic, food preservation. In this lesson, we will go into detail and describe the traditional methods of food preservation. We gave examples as drying, smoking, salting, use of honey, use of ash, and use of low temperatures. So we'll go one by one, starting with the drying. How do we use drying in food preservation? Drying. Let's take, for example, the sun. Heat from the sun is used to dehydrate the food. To dehydrate is to remove water from food. This in turn kills microorganisms that bring about the rotting of food because they cannot thrive or they cannot live well in dry conditions. They depend on moist conditions. That's why one of the factors we gave there as one of the environmental factors was moisture content. We must consider that. Sun drying or drying is one of the cheapest methods of food preservation because it uses heat energy from the sun. Examples of food preserved by drying method include cereals. Examples of cereals, you have things like maize, sorghum, rice, and millet. We can use tubers. We can dry tubers such as cassava. We can dry meat and fish. We can dry things like legumes, vegetables like kales and kunde. Number two, which is also a traditional method of food preservation, is smoking. Food is exposed to smoky fire which coats it with soot. Smoking coats food, keeping off bacteria. You know, when you coat something, just like you wear your clothes, so it keeps off. You don't feel cold and it keeps you off from dust. So smoking coats food, keeping off bacteria and fungi, therefore making it to stay longer in good condition. Also, when smoking, there is heat which is being produced by fire. This heat also removes water from food, therefore dehydrating the food. So smoking preserves food in two ways. One, by coating food, keeping off the germs. Number two, by dehydrating the food through removing of water. So examples of food which can be preserved by smoking, we have beef, we have mutton, we have pork and fish. And there are steps which you must follow. For example, if I want to smoke fish, you can't just take fish from the lake or from the market and start smoking it. There are steps. For example, what do I need to do? You must scrape off the scales from a fish using a knife or a metal strip. Then remove the internal organs of the fish after splitting the abdomen. Some people remove it through this part, but the best split the abdomen and remove the intestines. Apply some salt to dry a smoking furnace. You apply some salt as you smoke it. And applying some salt brings us to the third method of traditional way of preserving food, that is called salting. Salting, like drying, like smoking, we said drying dehydrates, which means removes water. Smoking, we said it coats and dehydrates. Now coming to salting, it also dehydrates, which means removes water. When you put salt on a fresh food, you'll see water coming out. Go and try that at home. How do you try that? Take, for example, sweet potato or Irish potato. Cut it into two and try to make a small hole there. Then put salt inside that hole you have just made. You will see water accumulating there. Where does that water come from? That water is drained from inside to outside to where there is salt. That's what we call dehydration. Salting removes water from food, so it dehydrates. Examples of foods we can preserve or through salting, we have fish and meat. Salting by removing water or through dehydration, it prevents bacteria and fungi from multiplying. How can we do this? For example, I will still talk about fish. How do you preserve that? Just have salty water and put your fish inside. Then after that, you can go and dry it. The next one is use of honey. You know honey? And make sure it is natural honey. This method involves foods such as meat being completely immersed into a container with honey. Honey does not allow air to get into the food, which means it coats food. The sugar in honey keeps off bacteria and fungi. This makes the foods to last longer. Examples of foods which we can preserve by use of honey are boiled meat. Boiled meat and preserve it using honey. Ripe fruits such as bananas and pineapples. Use of ash is the next method of preserving food. Use of ash. It's an example of a traditional method of preserving food. How do we use ash? Where do we get ash? Ash after cooking, for example, you're using charcoal, or you're using or you are using something like firewood. After the firewood burns completely, what is left there is ash. Now what do? You use that ash. You can use it to preserve grains such as beans, green grams. Ash helps to keep off pests such as termites, weevils, ants from attacking and boring holes on cereals. Remember our pet latrines, we keep on pouring ash to keep off the flies. Ash is also used to preserve tuber crops such as potato. Then lastly, I'm going to talk about use of low temperature under traditional methods of preserving food. Use of low temperature, which is put in a cool, dry place. This method prevents microorganisms from multiplying. It doesn't kill. The one which kills is heating. But this one just prevents them from multiplying. This is the best for preserving milk. Milk in a bottle, for example, is dipped into water over the night. Tomorrow you'll get it fresh. That's called. So, for example, the bottle of milk is usually covered with a large piece of land. You have a bowl of water. You have your bottle of milk covered. Put it and cover it with a cloth. The cloth provides what we call large surface area, which increases the surface area for evaporation. Remember, cooling is brought by the principle of evaporation. I'm repeating. Cooling is brought by the principle of evaporation. It means low temperature works under the principle of evaporation. Have you heard something called charcoal cooler, which works as a refrigerator? Remember, refrigerator is modern, but charcoal cooler is traditional. Charcoal cooler, we use it to preserve food in